start?
Yeah, start.
Oh, right.
We start there.
Just checking. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Curry Stew. I am Richard DeCimo. I can say that I'm a former radio announcer, DJ, television producer, host for the inside of the Chutney music industry. I do plenty other things beside that, but when it comes related to the Chutney industry, yes, that's what I used to do, but I still have one whole leg still inside of the industry. That's what I like to call it.
The right or the left?
It really
You don't know
one. Yeah, I get confused sometimes. I get kind of confused sometimes, so I just say one whole leg.
One whole leg.
I think that's more than enough, right?
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
need to put in both at the same time, but all right, no problem.
Yeah. Right. So I am everything he said, but well, he said.
But you're doing it now.
But I'm doing it now. Yeah, I'm doing it presently. Yeah, basically the same, but presently. Yeah. So
yes,
that's what we are.
Very good. All right.
Mhm.
On this podcast, which we thank you so much for tuning into, we are going to be discussing some more hard-hitting current topics and some other cool stuff when it comes to the Chutney music industry. And the reason that we really do this is so that we could improve, uplift, and also bring things to the fore that probably some other people may be scared to let you know about. But in our own way, we try to be very constructive about it so that we don't try to bring down anyone. And it's hopefully good entertainment and information for the entire family. So that's what we aim to do on this podcast. And we hope that you thoroughly enjoy what we have to offer. In this show, in this episode, we are going to be speaking about feedback. Not the feedback that you get from the microphone. Not that kind of feedback.
I know he was going to say that. I know he was going to say that.
You know me too well, my friend. Yes. Feedback in terms of what we offer to artists and bands and even DJs. Chutney music DJs are also, I think, going to fall under this because what do we tell them? So when I say feedback, I'm like, all right, I go up to a DJ and I say, hey, you DJ real good. But I know that some people just tell them that so that they could get their way or so that they could get the DJ to play their request or, I don't know, to get their phone number because their friend or something wants to get them to DJ for their wedding or funeral or whatever. But yeah, how do we give feedback to the artists? How do we give feedback to DJs and bands in the Chutney industry? And is it meaningful? Is it the truth? Is it something that we should be doing or should we be doing it in a different way? And also a really big part of it for me is, are we doing enough? Are we doing it the right way? So we're going to be discussing those things amongst others in this episode. And we hope that you enjoy it and, leave a comment and let us know what you think and what are some of the points that you believe should be included.
Right. Exactly. And, of course, we will both have different perspectives, or maybe some will be the same sort of kind of viewpoint or points, but, we will see things from a different angle because Richard has gone into, different realms of the entertainment industry. So he can look at the somewhat mainstream approach to certain things and how, feedback is given in the other side of the entertainment industry in Trinidad. And of course, with me, I can tell you how things have been over the last 25 years consistently in the Chutney directly. And, we will be able to kind of gauge where things were, where they are now, where they should be. And, we want to say that we'll be brutally honest. We're not going to call any names per se, but we have to be brutally honest and, say things the way they're supposed to be said because, again, we want the industry to grow and build and, get to a point where we could say, all right, cool, the industry is now, where it kind of should be, because at this point, there's a lot to be desired, a lot left to be desired for a lot of different things. And I'm sure, Richard, you agree with what I'm saying.
Yep. And with that now, I'd like to jump into the first point and the first, not really type of feedback, but where the feedback comes from. which is from the fans, of course, right?
Right.
We will give feedback as people from the industry. So like I will be like a commentator. So like I'm working on radio now. I'm not producing any television shows right now,
Mhm.
but I have the experience and I know the people involved. So that's what, I wouldn't say qualifies me, but it keeps me familiar with what is going on so that I
Mhm.
could be in constant contact with people, just like yourself.
Right.
And it's just about understanding who are the people giving the feedback. So let's start with the fans, but we
Mhm.
can't just say fans because there are different types of fans. You have people who know the artist. Let's start there, right?
Mhm.
So we have fans that know these artists, whether you're from Princestown to Point Fortin. You will have people who live in your neighborhood and say, yeah, he does live down by me, or she from down my side, or something like that, right?
Mhm.
So you'll have those type of people who will know you and they will support you almost no matter what because of their familiarity with you, either meeting you in the grocery, in the market, anywhere.
Right.
So there are those type of, I would say, fans, or the people that know you, right? So there are people who live around your area, or they just know you from being around, or even people from work. Some of your work colleagues, they will know you and they will want to support you and stuff like that, right? So
Mhm.
that is one group of, I will call fans. So like the familiar fans, I will call those people.
Would you put family in it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Everybody's familiar with you,
Right. Okay. Cool.
right? So anybody's close to you, they understand something about you differently from the music. So they know where you live. So like I don't know where a lot of different artists live. I don't know their house. I wouldn't say, hey, this is this one house, you know. Say, hey, you see, she does live so yeah. Oh, that one, yeah, he's still living by mother. You know, I don't know those things about her,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, so on the base of familiarity and yeah, so family and familiarity. Whether you're working with them, they're from your side, yeah, that kind of level. So that's the first type of fans that I will call, right? The familiar fans. And then there are people who know you for your music. So when I say music, there are people who will listen to radio and might come across something on Facebook or sometimes even one of those wonderful and lovely WhatsApp messages that you send 400 times to people on your list. Right. Yeah, those people as well, right? So those are the people who get to hear your music either from one of the mediums, whether it be social media, whether it be through broadcast. So
Mhm.
one of those mediums, yeah, there'll be people who will know about you from that aspect, right? From your musical aspect,
Right.
right? And then there are music seekers. Now, this is something that I am honestly not sure how many we have in the chutney industry. So when I say music seekers, like I actually seek out new music or even old music when I hear something being played either in another podcast or
Mhm.
in a YouTube music video or in somebody else's story on Instagram. I will actually seek out those songs.
Mhm.
They are music seekers. I have an Apple Music account. So
Right.
every year I'll pay a yearly fee. I mean, you can't pay a monthly fee, right? Anyway, so I pay a yearly fee for Apple Music where I can download any amount of songs. I could put songs on a playlist and stuff like that. So I have different playlists. So I
Mhm.
have playlists for driving, for sleeping,
Mhm.
for all sorts of different things, right? So
Right.
then I will have a soca playlist in there. I'll have a Bollywood playlist in there. How many of you all actually playlist the songs from the chutney industry that you like, that you want to hear, and that sort of stuff? So I am not sure how many music seekers we have in the chutney industry because I don't know any. I don't know any who will say, yes, I was looking for this one song and I downloaded it or whatever. I've never heard anybody say something like that.
I have
So
a
that is from
feeling.
my experience. What is your experience?
I have a feeling that that occurs a little more on the outside. When I say outside, in the external markets, the States, the West Indians living in the States, Canada, like England, Holland, maybe Suriname to a
So I
lesser
mean anything,
extent.
anybody else besides Chutney?
No. In terms of the chutney, you find that when you speak with a lot of
Oh,
people who
okay,
live
okay.
outside,
Mm.
because they don't have chutney on FM, and they have to actually go online anyway to get their chutney. Basically,
Mm. Mm.
sometimes it's like a mix on YouTube, or sometimes it's something else that's online somewhere. You find out a lot of them talk about playlists and going on Apple Music and Spotify and whatever else for all of their playlists, chutney or otherwise. So I think it's more prevalent
Overseas
again
then.
overseas. Yeah, Trinidad, because everything is so readily available
Right.
and hands-on in terms of radio and other mediums. I don't think we kind of do it as much as outside
Because we
overseas.
don't need to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I mean, that makes sense
Yeah.
because interesting experience of mine is that whenever you go to a chutney fete, I think especially chutney fetes abroad, there is like in Trinidad, if you go to a chutney fete,
Mm,
the energy level is like up here, right?
yeah.
But then when you go to a chutney fete abroad, anywhere, it's like, ooh, it's like all the way up here.
Yeah.
Serious because I don't know what it is because I went to a show many years ago, like more than 20 years ago, and this was in Florida. And I knew that a particular band was playing.
All right.
And I went into that club and I saw that band play. And the energy was just off the chart. It was like nothing I saw up till that point.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was high. The energy was like way off the chart. And they treated these people like celebrities. Like, I mean, it's not that they aren't celebrities, but like if they were people to be worshipped almost. And I was like, whoa. And then since then now, going to different shows in different countries, like chutney shows, like the energy is just there. It's like, woo, yeah. The people just going wild. And I'm like, I really wish people in Trinidad could see this, you know?
But the thing is, I think we kind of in Trinidad, we kind of get so used to having these shows, at least up to a few years ago, that we don't give the props, and we don't give the credit, and we don't give the due respect to the chutney artists as we should. Because remember, even though the shows are coming fast and furious now in North America, especially, and people are seeing them more often than before, I still think the people outside, again overseas, they are given, they're really given the praise that these artists deserve in terms of how popular they are and how they make people follow them and how they make people love their music and the whatever we spoke about in the past about where the music is and that kind of stuff. They're still doing great work in terms of bringing out people to follow culture, a part of the culture in some way, and it takes a lot of effort, as you would know, a lot of energy and a lot of dedication, and they kind of rightfully so show them that that they are superstars in their own right, as opposed to what we get down here. You find like sometimes some people go to events and they're not paying attention and they're talking and they whatever and they're going about their regular routine, and then maybe for one or two tunes they might jump up, and then the other tunes they might just be quiet and watch and think. It's a whole different vibe. I mean, some people might disagree with me, but it's a whole different vibe.
No, you're right. And it is true because I had an experience in Toronto where this person actually knew the singer Nelly Furtado.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, serious? She performing up here and thing? And he was like, yeah, but it's not a big chance. I was like, yo, that's Nelly Furtado.
Yeah.
He's like, Brett, she might be something big for you, but here she's a local.
Yeah, it's true.
I was like, all right. I get you. So I think,
You know who else gets that in Canada?
who's that?
What's his name again? Boy, Russell Peters. Some people I talk to, they know Russell Peters, and yes, he's a big mega superstar. But couple of people told me like, yeah, well, I know this DJ partner who know him real good. We does lime sometimes and thing. And I'm like, still, even if you lime once, twice, three, four times with Russell Peters, he's Russell Peters, you know what I mean? It's like, yes, like he's your partner. He's not your partner, but you're making it sound like he's your partner, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
what
But I mean,
going
okay.
on?
I think this also has to deal with the culture of the people, right? Because there
Mm-hmm.
are some cultures that are fanatics about their musicians.
Yeah.
So if you go to New York and you say, well, I don't think you can go to New York and say, yeah, well, Alicia Keys, she's a local. No. You can say, yeah, well, Jay-Z up. So, hey, Jay-Z. I don't think you could do that. I don't think that will be done.
Nope.
I guess it also the culture, because I used to look at like shows like TRL on MTV back in the day, and you just see people losing their minds when somebody
Mhm.
walks into the room, right?
Yep.
And even for me, I was like, yeah, but would it get on so far?
Why you getting on so high? I'm too
Wait,
high.
it's, it's just it's just a man walking in there, and it's like,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
get on so far. And then I'm like, all right, the culture of these people is crazy, because the next thing is that like Japan.
Mm.
Japan is another one of those places where from my, I wish experience, but not yet. From
Soon,
what
soon.
I've seen, what I've heard is that they are serious music fanatics. Like even for
Mm-hmm.
soca, I don't know about the chutney in Japan. I don't know if there's chutney in Japan. I'm sure there is at some level, but I don't know about the
There's,
extent of it.
I will show you some videos. Chutney
Ah,
is half to three quarter way to the point of soca. It's really,
serious.
yeah,
Well,
Chutney
Dread,
there.
I need to see that, because we need to
Yeah,
start pushing that and showing people those things, because
yeah, yeah.
Japan, those people are music fanatics. So if I know about what they do for soca already, if they treat chutney music with half that respect, that's like huge, because they culturally are music fanatics. They love, 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 love music.
Yeah.
So they are real fans. But then you also find them in different genres of music. So like, let's say for EDM. In EDM, you will have festivals, because that's how diverse the music is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like EDM, like long time we used to call any EDM sort of dance music, we used to call it techno,
Oh God.
right? So remember, we actually went to Club Space in Miami, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, this is the techno room. So I
Yeah.
thought anything with that, so I thought anything with that was techno, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was for that, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
but I thought that was everything that was dance music, but it's not,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you have house, you have deep house, you have techno, you have trance, and all of these things. I think it also, yes, has to deal with the culture of the people, but at the same time, getting back to the whole feedback story now, I think that we need to know how to give feedback to the artists constructively. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know everybody's not going to do it for sure, of course. So if you are one of those people who are not constructive about anything, but you just say things that people said you could get a laugh, well, this may not be the right show for you. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're a person that you hear what we're saying, you want to try to be a better fan or encourage something that is better, because I mean, we have both heard the complaints too many times that, oh, these chutney people, they're singing a set of this and that, and I don't know what to say again, and it's horn and rum, and okay, that's actually true to a point, but that's not everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It should and can grow from this point. But as we spoke about in the last episode, not even our attachment, their attachment, I will say this. I think that some artists, not all of course, some artists' attachment to their fans and satisfying their fans, or
Mm-hmm.
people that they think are their fans, actually brings the whole thing down,
Yep.
because you are
Yep.
now led by some people who are looking to you for leadership. But when they
Mm-hmm.
realize that, oh, it's just this one, oh, it's just that one, instead of, because of that, I would say conduct, and you are just allowing people to tell you what to do, and you doing it,
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, if people feel as though everybody, any right thinking and knowing adult will know this. Anytime they realize that they have some sort of power or edge on you, people will just naturally take advantage of you. At least
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, not everybody, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't try to do that over people. But
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
people feel as though they have control over you, or they have some sort of impact on you, which in a way is not bad, because you could say, all right, well, I'll take your suggestion, or yeah, that's a real good idea. I could probably sing about this or do this collaboration or something. It needs to grow up to a certain point and go beyond. It needs to grow. It needs to elevate. It needs to advance. It needs to go through a sort of evolution. It
Yeah.
cannot just stay down because, again, as we spoke about last episode, is that you are doing something that you think, as I'm speaking to the fans and the bands and stuff, right? You may be doing something to make sure that your fans are happy, right? But at the same time, in just doing that now, your fans, or at least some of them, or dare I say most of them, may not know what the trajectory of a forward thinking and progressive artist looks like. They may not know what that seems. So just like how we will tell the government what to do, we don't know how much money is have in the treasury. We don't know which, we don't know who doing what or where the money going, like literally, right? Unless you real dig, and you still might not find out. When you feel as though things supposed to be like this, or that kind of thing, or you have an edge over somebody, really and truly, we want to make sure that we could give proper feedback to the artists so that in our own way and our limited expertise and sight, that we can say, all right, hey, that sound real good, or not so good, or this real cool, or how do we give that feedback, right?
Well, the thing is,
Yeah.
strangely enough, from what you are saying there, Chutney has to be one of the industries that really it is kind of like all how, if you want to put it that way, in terms
In what
of
way?
the feedback is always there's, as you said, there's always a group that feels like they know the artists, really from a close, a close perspective, like their family or friends, or they live in next to the artist, or, they've been following the artist for a long, long time, and they feel like it never give any negative feedback to the artist. And, there's that sense of mamagism from, no, it is Mamaguy and people, because it's like anything that certain artists would come out with, that good, that real boss, that could be a hit. And it's like, you never, I mean, some of us know some of these fans, from the radio, from you being on radio, from me being on radio, from other places as well, seeing these fans in events all the time, and they always just bigging up, always saying, well, yeah, this is the greatest, this is the best, this is one of the best you've done, X, Y, and Z. And then sometimes you wonder, well, some of these songs aren't really as good as some of the other songs that they were talking about. So then what do they use as a yardstick? I mean, it's like just the fact that it comes out the mouth of your favorite artist means it's good, right? I mean,
like, what is the benchmark?
Yeah, where's the benchmark?
No, I actually have a story, a real good story of Mamaguy people. I have one of the best stories, and I experienced this. And when I experienced this, it almost blew my mind. It did. It blew my mind. I had to walk out from where I was just because of how profound it is. But you're going to get that story in part 2 of the podcast.
Yep.
Right? So this is part 1. Stay tuned to part 2 coming very soon. Right? Keep watching.